Sure, I love a good nursery splurge, but I also get lots of plants for the garden on the cheap. I propagate my own, rescue chuck-outs from roadsides and shop in the green waste aisle, pile at the tip. And I scour the seconds area of any place that sells plants. There are bargains to be had, and so many plants, they're tough, they want to live, and they'll work with you. They can be rejuvenated. But there are a couple of things to know to work out which ones are worth a try. Any annuals that are already most of the way through their life cycle, which is producing flowers or fruit, they're better off in the compost. And of course, anything that's showing signs of disease, that must be left behind. You don't want it. Any large tree that is seriously pot-bound is unlikely to thrive, and if it doesn't develop a really good root system, it's also at risk of toppling over down the track. To find plants that are worth reviving, you need to look for signs of life. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to actually locate the cambium layer. This means that even if a plant is deciduous and it's lost its leaves, you can still work out if it's alive and worth having a go at. So you do this by just carefully use your fingernail and scratch a little bit of the bark off. And just underneath that fresh green layer, that's where all the action happens. It's where water and sugars are moved around the plant, and it is the key to life. On this one, start up the top, nothing, work your way down, because often plants will die back from the tip. There is absolutely no sign of life in this plant. No cambium layer means it's not worth trying. Another sign of life is obvious, it's new growth. And even though this plant has clearly had a traumatic event, it's got lots of dead leaves, but it's also shooting away. A lot of plants will do that on their tips. They'll produce new tip growth, while lots of shrubs and perennials will start to produce new buds at the base. And of course, you can encourage more new growth with your secateurs by pruning off that damaged material. This waratah has suffered really badly. I think it's probably gotten too wet, and that means that the tips have died back. Now, I could cut back to this bud here or here, just below that dieback, but there is a risk it continues to travel down. And then this piece here, well, it looks like it's got all dead wood, so that would compromise this whole area. Instead, I'm going to come back down this stem and I'm going to cut to these really healthy buds right below. Water really is a common wounder of plants. So too much in the case of the waratah or this cordyline that's dying back from that leaf tip, or too little. Really, really common thing with ferns. And so as well as cutting off this growth, I need to get them seriously wet. Keep them submerged so that you completely saturate the mix. You'll see all the air bubbles will come out. It's usually about 20 or 30 minutes. And then in a couple of weeks, you should start to see signs of new growth. And that means they're ready for their new life. Some plants will need more than just a prune of the top of the plant to rejuvenate it. They'll need rejuvenating in the roots as well. So if they're really, really pot-bound, it's very difficult for the root system to find new soil, new nutrients, and fuel that new growth. So this one needs to be potted into a larger pot, or could just go straight out into the garden. First thing I need to do is remove these flowers, because they are taking all of the energy of the plant. When it comes to moving a plant up a pot size, it's good to not go too big. With a lot of plants, if they sit in a lot of unused soil, it can stay too cold and too wet. So about a third as big again is really good. This is just the next size up. So I'm going to put a little bit of potting mix in the bottom there. Oh, those roots are actually not too bad. So I'm just going to gently tickle them out. You can use your secateurs to cut away any that are spiralling or anything that's too big. It'll actually encourage more roots. While they will benefit from a feed, they don't need too much. So a top dressing of compost and a small amount of slow release fertiliser should get them through. put your plants into a sheltered spot while they recover. A weak liquid feed every couple of weeks will help to push your patients along. It's good for anything but a sensitive plant like a waratah. And then in 4 or 6 weeks, you should know whether your rescue is going to be a new garden hero or it's off to the compost. Either way, you won't know unless you give it a go. And I reckon it's almost always worth having a try.